Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be talking about how you can install ownCloud on Amazon EC2. So recently I was working on a project that had an integration of ownCloud, and the ownCloud was installed on EC2 instance. So it was a whole project. So first of all, I would like to introduce you with what is ownCloud. So ownCloud is an open source file sync and share software for everyone, from individuals operating the free ownCloud server edition. So this is basically an open source file syncing and sharing software, and it can be installed on EC2. It has a beautiful UI that can be used in order to share one or more files and folders on your computer and synchronize them with your own cloud server. So this can be done by installing it on EC2. So without any further ado, let's get started. We'll install this with the help of Docker Compose. So let's go to our EC2 instance. So we'll go to EC2 on our Amazon console, AWS console, and we will create a new EC2 instance quickly. So we'll click on launch instance, and we will name this instance as ownCloud EC2 server, and we'll just do it quickly. We'll select Ubuntu, then Ubuntu free tier eligible, that is the one we are going to select, and we will use an existing key pair. So let's say I use this key pair, it is already existing on my system, and then select existing security group. So let's say I select this security group, or you can create a new security group as well. So I'll show what all ports, inbound ports, are being open on this security group. And since this is already an existing one on my system, I'll show you how this security group has been configured. And advanced details, okay, nothing, no more changes over there. So we will just quickly click on launch instance. So this is launching an instance for us that we just created. So in the meanwhile, I'll show you like what are we going to do, what do we plan to do. So we are going to install Docker on our EC2 instance, and once Docker has been installed, we are going to follow the documentation that is provided by ownCloud in order to install the ownCloud, and there will be some configuration changes which we'll be doing in order to access the ownCloud UI. So let's see if our instance is up and running. Okay, so our instance is up and running. So we'll just quickly connect to our instance. Okay, so let's try to connect to our EC2 instance. So we will copy the SSHI minus I command, and we have a key at this location. The key that we had it is in downloads, and then we are going to copy the SSH minus I command. So SSH minus I, the name of the key, then the user with which you are trying to connect, AWS user, which is Ubuntu in our case, at the rate, the IP, and the complete address to the EC2 instance that you are trying to connect. And then we are going to hit enter. And we are connected to our EC2 instance. And just to verify, you can check that it is the same IP with which we are connected. Okay, so this is the command that I used, and I copied over there. And let's see if we are connected to the same instance just to verify. So we are going to the instance, and you can see that we are connected to this IP address, and that is the IP address that is present over there. So next, what we are going to do is we are going to install Docker on our EC2 machine. So we are going to follow the steps that is given on this website. I'll share the link with you guys. So let's copy all these commands. Let's quickly install Docker on our EC2 machine. Okay, let's just copy this commands, all the commands that are present here, and we will hit enter once we have copied, and it will start installing Docker for us. And once it has installed Docker, we can verify it. And once this has been installed, we are going to install ownCloud. So first is sudo apt get update command. So this will be, so let me just explain you the commands that we are using over here. So sudo apt get update command. So this command, it helps in updating the package list for upgrades, and it also helps in new package installations on your Ubuntu machine. Then the next command, it installs the certificates, and it basically installs all the CA certificates and the required directories, and it will also create a directory for keyrings. So the next command will install and create a directory for keyrings, and then it will download the GPG key for your installation, and then it will add permissions to the GPG key in the next command, sudo chmod a plus r, and after that it will add the repository to your apt resources. So all these things are happening, and then again in the end we are updating the packages again. So basically, if you follow these commands, Docker's official GPG key and repository will be added to your system, which will enable you to install Docker. So we are going to install Docker in our next step. So let's see how are we going to install that. So we are going to copy this command from here, and we are going to put it on our console. Let me first clear the screen, and then we are going to run the command sudo apt get install docker c. So basically it is going to install docker c, docker c cli, container d.io, docker build x plugin, docker compose plugin, and we are going to hit enter, and it is asking you, do you want to continue? Let's say yes. And it will continue installing all these plugins and all these docker c and docker c cli on our ec2 machine. So once this has been installed, we'll look into the next step. It will take a minute to get installed on your EC2 machine. So in the meanwhile, till the time it gets installed, I'll be back once it has been installed completely. So it looks like it has been installed completely. So you should get all these messages once it has been installed completely. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to copy the next command. So the next command is we are going to verify that Docker engine installation is successfully by running the hello world image. So we are going to copy this command sudo docker run hello world, and we are going to run it on our EC2 console on our machine, the one through which we are connected from our local. On that session, we are going to copy this command. Let's copy the command sudo docker run hello world. So once we run the command, so it is not able to find the image locally, so it is pulling the image from the library, and once it pulls the image, it prints the message hello from docker. Okay, so this is the command that we just executed in order to verify that Docker has been installed successfully on our EC2 machine. Next, we are going to look into ownCloud installation, and we are going to install ownCloud on our EC2 machine. Now the next link, I will share the link with you guys. So this is the link that we're going to use in order to install ownCloud on our EC2 machine. So first we are going to create an ownCloud directory, ownCloud Docker server directory. Then we are going to go inside that service directory, and we are going to create a docker compose.yaml file, and we are going to paste all these steps that are present in docker compose.yaml file. So let's start by creating a directory and then going inside that particular directory. We'll copy this command. We will go here and we will just paste these commands. Sorry, not hello from docker. We are going to copy these commands. So it has basically created this directory for us, and we are inside this directory. Let's see if there is anything inside this directory. The directory is empty currently. So we are going to create this file, docker compose.yaml file, inside the directory. So I will use the command touch in order to create that file. So let's see if there is something in our directory. So you can see that docker compose.yaml file has been created inside the directory. Next, we are going to copy the contents of this particular YAML file and paste it inside docker compose.yaml file. So let's open our docker compose.yaml file with the help of nano editor. So we will go inside this docker compose.yaml file. We have pasted the contents, whatever we copied from our official documentation of ownCloud. So once this is done, we will press Ctrl X and we will save the file. Hit enter, and just to verify that whether the file has been saved or not, let's see. Let's run a cat command just to verify. Okay, so we have all the contents inside the YAML file. So it has pasted all the contents in order to install different things like Redis, MariaDB, and then ownCloud server as well. Once this has been done, we have to create an .env configuration file which will contain the required configuration settings. Configuration settings such as ownCloud version, which you are going to install, ownCloud domain, ownCloud trusted domains, which you are going to access, then admin username, admin password, then HTTP port as well, where your website will be running or it will be hosted. That will be 8080. So let's create a file .env. Again, we are going to use touch command to create .env file. Next, we are going to use nano editor in order to access .env file, and we are going to copy paste the contents from this official page of ownCloud. So we have copy pasted the content here, and we are going to save this file. So this file has been saved. Let's see if the contents are being pasted correctly. So yes, the contents have been pasted correctly. Now if you have to log in once the UI is up, you need to use admin username and admin password, which is going to be admin. So this is the file where you define the username and password. Then what you have to do is you can build and start the container using the preferred Docker command line tool. So we are going to use Docker Compose. So copy this command, Docker Compose up -d. So it says the version is obsolete, the version that we are using, and the permission is denied. So let's use sudo. We are going to give sudo permissions in order to run this command. So we use sudo docker compose up -d, and you can see that these things have started running. The images have been started pulling. So Redis, ownCloud, and MariaDB are the three things that are getting installed on our EC2 instance. So it will take some time to complete the downloading part and pulling part and for the installation. So once this is complete, we are going to run the own cloud on our machine and we are going to see that how it works. Okay, so everything is being configured, created. So next what we are going to do is we are going to see that we are going to check that whether these containers have been successfully started or not, and we are going to check that by using the command docker compose ps. Let's clear the screen. We're going to run this command. Okay, so we need to use sudo again. So you can see that these three things, which is MariaDB, Redis, and ownCloud, are up and running, and ownCloud is hosted on 8080. So let me show you the security group configurations in order to make sure that we are doing it correctly. Then let's go to security, and this is the security group that I am using. So in order to access the ownCloud, these are some of the ports that have been configured. So one is your SSH port. This has already been configured so that we can connect from our local machine. We can SSH to our EC2 instance. Then HTTP port is also something that was configured at 80, and then custom TCP port at 8080 so that we can access our own cloud. So let's leave it here and then we are going to try to access the own cloud. And in order to access the own cloud, what it says is like you need to use localhost colon 8080. So that is how you can access it. Let's see if we are able to access it using localhost 8080 or not. Okay, so type in the, so we are not able to access localhost 8080. It says connection has been refused. So let's see. So what you have to do is, this will happen. So what you have to do is you have to make changes to your .env file. So let's go to .env file, and in that .env file we have to define in trusted domains the domains that we are going to trust. So in that we have to define the IP of this particular EC2 instance. Let's copy the public IP address and let's add it here, and then we are going to save this file. Let's check this file, it has been saved successfully or not. Yes, we have added that as a trusted domain. And once we have done this, what we are going to do is we are again going to check that these are still running, and let's try to access it on this particular IP. Okay, so now it is saying that you are accessing the server through an untrusted domain. So let's restart the Docker and see that if we are able to access the own cloud or not. Okay, so what I did was I restarted my EC2 instance as well. So because of which my public IP address also got updated. And if I will show you my .env file, so these are the changes which I made to my .env file. I added the public IP of my EC2 instance in ownCloud underscore domain, and in my trusted domains also I added this particular IP address, public IP address of my EC2 instance. Once I have done this, then what I did was I restarted my Docker Compose. So I stopped it and then I restarted it, and then I checked that all the services are running fine. And once these services were running fine, I used the IP address colon 8080 in order to access my own cloud. So you can see that I'm using my public IP address colon 8080, and then I hit enter and I'm able to access the own cloud UI. And then in username I will enter admin as the username and admin as the password, because this is what it was defined in our .env file. And I will hit on login button, and once we click on login button we will see that this screen comes up. And once we are here, you can see that these are some of the folders which are provided by ownCloud by default. So our ownCloud is set up on EC2 instance, it is up and running. So this is how you have to set up ownCloud on your EC2 instance. I hope this video was informative for you, and this was quite helpful in installing ownCloud on an EC2 machine. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.